Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. A great turnout here. What impressed me, I seen there was a couple young gentlemen here. I mean, probably age of 16 or 18. I think that's great, and I think that's what we're missing in agriculture in general. We need to be getting that younger generation to educate themselves and get out there and see what issues are being involved in agriculture, if it's the grassland or financial or whatever it may be. We need to keep continuing and encourage that young generation, to get to events like this. So a little bit what I'm going to talk about tonight, and I don't do a great PowerPoint, just kind of really talk about what I see as an ag lender, as an ag producer, in agriculture in general. So one of the things as an ag lender is communication. So I want to raise a hand. How many have talked to their ag lender in the last week? Raise your hand. Okay, maybe 5, 6. How many in the last month have talked to your ag lender? Okay, we're getting there, maybe 15. The last 3 months. Okay, 6 months. How many of you have not talked to your ag lender in the last year? Okay, so as an ag lender, communication is huge. I mean, I want to know, I have my ag lenders, they might call me once a week. And not to talk about, hey, how's my account? I need to borrow some money. They talk and find out, what do I know? What do they know? What are they going on in their program? It's huge. And I would really encourage you with your ag lender out there, give him a call. What's he know? Does he know your goals of your operation? They should be a partner of your operation, knowing your goals. If it's the grass, if you want to do a grass improvement, whatever it may be with your program, but does he have the knowledge? Is he on game of what you want to do in your operation? To me, that's huge. I want to know what's your goal. If I'm helping financing, I want to be a partner. I don't want to be the person deciding your operation, but I need to know what goals, what resources I have, and what direction you're going to go and how we're going to get there. So I think communication is huge with your ag lender. They're there working for you. Okay, so definitely reaching out to communicate with your ag lender, and not just when you need financing. Stay in touch with them. Okay, next, opportunities. Have you talked about your opportunities for your program this year with your ag lender? Are you going to do an LRP with your calves? Are you going to plan on grazing or baling some of your grass? One of the issues I just ran into back in October, I was with a rancher. They leased out some pasture in the summer. They had some extra grass out there, we would lease it out. They gained $20,000. I was at their operation in November, and already they had to buy an extra $40,000 of hay for the winter. Why? Cash was nice up front, and all of a sudden it cost them an extra $20,000 of a loss of what they gained. And it's tough, when the money's coming, us as ranchers, we need the money, we need the income, but communicate with your ag lender. Is this good? Maybe they could have not have brought in those cattle and saved the money on winter grazing some of that land. And I think a lot of us in agriculture, we need to communicate better to find out the solution, the issues, whatever it may be. Run different scenarios. I used to be a teacher for Mitchell Tech with the South Dakota Farm and Ranch Management, and their table is right over there, so I am throwing a little bit of plug in there. And I still use a lot of their data with my members. If you're already showing a past loss of years prior, why do the same thing? Why do we do the same thing? Because this is how we did it previous years. We do it. Even though we know the numbers show a loss, we still do it. And it might be for different reasons. It might be, hey, we need to raise this crop in order to feed the cattle. And that's fine, but you definitely need to look into enterprise analysis with your operation. Really see, let somebody else make the mistakes. I don't care if it's running pasture or a crop or whatever it may be. We don't have room for error. We really don't. So really look into your operation. Which part of your enterprise is making money and which one is losing money? If you can't get many tons per acre, is it worth haying? It's a lot easier to turn the cows out there and graze it during the winter months than putting the cost into it. So I think you need to look on every acre, every pasture, what is it? Should you be running cow-calf pairs? Should you be running yearlings? Multi-species out there. There's a lot of great resources out there. You just got to find it. You got to think outside the box. What do you have to do to generate that operation? Does your ag lender know your operation? Honestly, does he know your operation, what you're doing? Or are you just going in there, borrowing money, the numbers match up, another line of credit for another year? But does he know your operation, what you're doing? Raise your hand. How many? You don't have to raise your hand, but does your ag lender know your operation? He needs to. Other than just loaning money, you got to be successful out there. And so I'll definitely communicate and let your lender know what your operation is doing. What is your future? Probably one of the hard things, I want to know, do we have a will? Especially if I have a new member, a young husband, wife with children. I want them to have a will for the sake of the kids, especially. And now with the transition planning going on, we have a lot of people. Our assets are high, land values are high, cattle are high, your assets are high. What if? Have you done any transition or estate planning? One recommendation I would highly encourage, make sure if you're doing any of that financial future planning, make sure you go to an attorney that understands ag and knows ag, has been doing in agriculture for a while. That's probably one of the big mistakes I find. People go into their local attorney, they do it all, and then 5 years down the road it was done incorrectly because they did not understand ag. And there's great ag attorneys out there. Reach out to them. I would really highly encourage you to find somebody that has that expertise. We're going to talk a little bit about balance sheets. How often do you do a balance sheet? Do you do a balance sheet at home, or do you do a balance sheet when you go into the lender? And you're going to ask him, he says, well, how much hay you had on in hand? And the normal response is, what did I have last year? That's the normal response, So try to create a balance sheet before you get in there. Remember, I do this every day. I don't expect my members to come in and know all of it. Do I go to NRCS or the FSA or any other office expecting that I should know it all? No, that's not my job. I go to the experts. The same way with me. I do the balance sheets and cash flows. Yeah, I'd love to have you come in with something, but it's a lot easier for me starting out and correcting it. I want to have you have some sense of knowledge, but you're not the expert in that field. Come with some numbers. Know what your inventory is, your hay, your cow numbers. I can't guess that. But some of the other stuff, how to put the numbers in, that's my job, okay? But come with something with the balance sheet. Do a little bit of homework at home. Put a little bit of effort into it. Keep fair prices to stress the operation on a down market. Cattle are pretty good prices right now, aren't they? Okay? So you come in and says, well, Dave, I got 100 cows. Right now I seen those 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, they're bringing 23 to 2,500. That's great. I love it. Am I going to put that on a balance sheet, that price? No. Why? What's going to happen? Is it going to come down? It is. And when it comes down, I'm going to hurt you on a down market just on a piece of paper. So if I can be conservative and still be fair, that's what I want to do, because on a down cycle, I'm not going to beat you up just on a piece of paper. Okay? So be fair with your prices in there. And a good guideline is FSA has some very fair prices, maybe sometimes high or low. It's an opinion on what you want in there, but be fair about it. Don't overprice your assets to allow to an inflated balance sheet. Have accurate liabilities with accrued interest, current principal balances, things like that when you come in. Now, if you're banking, say you're at a different bank, I don't know your balances there. If you're within my system, I know those numbers, but I can't guess what you might have on a car loan with somewhere else. So come in with some accurate information with it. Review your inventory of crop, hay, and livestock on hand. Another big thing I really find out is you come in with the equipment list. And end of the year, you said, well, I added this sprayer, or I added another piece of equipment. Go through your equipment list. What I find a big issue is people come in with the equipment list, and we go through them. You sold this piece 5 years ago. It's still on your equipment list. You sold it, all this stuff. What I find is, okay, first of all, the equipment list is there, or we added something. The second thing, if you haven't called your insurance agent, you're still paying for all that equipment on there. So other than me updating your inventory list, you need to do your insurance policy. Because more than likely, you didn't tell the insurance company you got rid of $50,000 or $100,000 of equipment in the last 5 years, and you're still paying some premium on there. So there's little things like that to do. Update with your lender, and then follow up with your insurance. Tax returns. Tax returns. So this time of year, people come in and want to get a loan. Some of you might have your tax returns done, some of you might not. So a lot of times the rule of thumb is if you don't have your tax return, I'm going to be looking for a profit and loss statement. So record keeping is huge. To get that profit and loss statement, depend on the size of the amount, I'm going to need that. Last 3 years tax returns. The easiest way, I need them to compare, again, on the size of loan, what do you have done previously? How many of you send, raise your hand, when you get done with your taxes, how many of you actually send them to your lender? Raise your hand. Okay, they're going to probably, if your lender is probably going to need them, update them. So right away, the first thing to do, go ahead and send them, as soon as you get them back, email, send them right to your lender. Now another thing is having a secured system. Call your tax preparer, whoever does it, and just says, hey, can you email this to my ag lender? And then you're done. A lot of times when I'm working with people and I need their past 3 years tax returns, a lot of times they get them out of the file, take that like number 10 gauge clip, staple that they got in there, because it's hard to get them out, but have your, instead of them scanning it and sending it to me, just have your tax preparer. Just say, hey, send all 3 tax returns to your lender. Then it's done. Otherwise, you got to scan it, try to figure out how to attachment and send them to me, and then have it secured is another good reason to have your taxpayer do that. Also, live a little bit with that. When I get them from your tax preparer, if they are secured, can I open them? A lot of times they will have them secured, and if they don't send me the password as a lender, I can't open them, and so then I have to go back, contact you. You have to contact your tax preparer. So make sure you talk a little bit about them being secured. Cash flow. You can do a cash flow today. How long is it good for? Today. Okay. Create a cash flow that is moderate on the prices of the commodity sold. Okay. So let's say, what has hay done in the last 3 to 4 months? Hay prices has gone down. So earlier last winter, last fall, we've seen a lot of hay, $175. There's area $200. You went to your ag lender, say you renewed in December, and you cash flowed hay for 2024 at $200 a ton. Are you sticking with that cash flow? Depends if we get rain. Okay. What if you would have came back to your ag lender and he agreed, he said, let's do 200, make the numbers look good. Positive cash flow helps, doesn't it? Now let's say we get month in April, then the fall comes in and we get a lot of rain. You think it's going to stay 200? Could come down. So you cash flow on 200 and the price went down to $80, $100 a ton. What's your cash flow look like now? Not too good. So you think it could get kind of tough towards December of 2024? Possibly. Depends what the year brings. So it's no different if it's hay, if it's cattle, whatever commodity is. Be very conservative on your cash flow. Price it low and hope the price keeps going up. Go higher on the expense side and low on the income side. Okay? Hopefully you're doing that already. If your lender's not, it's your cash flow. Be thinking about that. It's your business, isn't it? Protect your business. Stress test it. The next thing, and I don't, not here to offend anybody, my concern as an ag lender, and I deal with West River, a lot of cattle, a lot of ranches, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, western Nebraska, so we kind of have a big trade area. One of my big concerns is cattle price is good. We have inflation, costs are up. What happens when things get tighter? And this pertains to the grassland, keeping our grass there. What happens? We look for something to generate cash flow. We're going to keep the ranch, right? No matter what the cause. Are we going to plow up that grass? I mean, this is because you don't want to lose the ranch. And so what I see is there's going to be other options out there. Good or bad, it's your opinion. But I'm going to see easements, wind power, solar power, carbon credits. All those are going to become an option when times get tough. And that's the cycle, what happens. We reach out to whatever way we can possibly cash flow and stay ranching. And it concerns me. Because what happens? We'll do what it takes. And we lose more grass that's out there. One thing as an ag lender, probably the biggest thing is a lot of guys don't know, when you sign those loan documents, especially on a mortgage with real estate, there's usually a clause that's going to be in there, and a lot of people don't know this. There's a clause in there that if you do any lease and any contracts with a third party, you can be in default of your loan. So you need to talk to your ag lender. If there's other opportunities out there you want to do for your operation and you have a lien or mortgage against that land, you need to talk to your ag lender and say, okay, if I sign this contract, whatever it may be, am I going to be in default of the mortgage? And it depends on what program you're going to go into. That's probably the biggest topic, the biggest concern I have today presenting is a lot of people don't know that. I don't want you to sign that and be in default of the loan. And I'm working with different members right now is we're communicating with our attorneys on staff. Okay, what is the importance if they sign this? Is a change in their operation? Because how's that cash flow to make that payment of that land? If they sign up for this program, is that going to change the cash income, the income portion of it? And that's me as a lender. That's what I need to know. If it changes it, okay, is this something good that as a lender we should have them signing or not? So I think you need to look into those programs and make sure it's the right fit and be communicating with your ag lender that this is a good option out there. A couple things, I guess, just to kind of wrap it up. Range profitability, what I'm seeing a lot, I think in general overall, the genetics of cattle in different parts of the area environment, I would say is something we need to keep looking at. Flexibility of your operation, cow, calf, yearlings, frame scores, all that is very important for profitability. Work with all the different agencies. Take time, get information here with all the different agencies that might work, that can and will work for your operation. Definitely stockpiling summer grass for winter grazing. The cash up front might cost you more than really in the long run to give them some of these benefits. So if you have any questions, I'll be around today and tomorrow. Feel free to come up, pretty straightforward, and see what I can do. Thank you.